Human action resounds in the heavens. The bell echoes above. What we decide here today will polish or crack the firmament. What shall it be?
And that gets into what you see here with Werner von Braun in his tombstone, where it has the Bible verse, Psalms 19:1, where the heavens declare the glory of God and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Very interesting for a man that's head of rocketry when it comes to NASA basically from the inception. But again, for those that understand the whole concept of the firmament, this is the biblical cosmology here. As you can see, the firmament is the structure above the atmosphere, conceived as a vast solid dome, the biblical cosmology. Just like as you see here with the domed earth, and that's probably a better term than saying flat earth, because there's definitely peaks and valleys, but definitely there is a structure above us. This is why we have this pressurized system. And I find it very interesting, the concepts from NASA, just like the space shuttle called Atlantis, like we are within Atlantis. And this is again biblical, with all these Bible verses, as you can see here, pointing in that direction. If you're a Bible believer, the waters above, the waters below, the ends of the earth mentioned 50 times. Earth is immovable, mentioned several times, as you can see here. The sun, moon, and stars under the firmament, not outside, within the firmament. So people might say this is just a depiction, but this depiction matches our observed reality. As you can see here, the daytime moon, supposedly 238,000 miles in deep space. And again, you see it clearly with the blue sky in the back. This matches the biblical flat earth, where it states in the Bible, Genesis, in the very beginning, and God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Planets are not mentioned. Planets are basically just wandering stars, again, within the firmament. And it also clearly states, and God set them in the firmament. So they're within the firmament. They're not outside projecting in. So I want to be very clear about this. So again, this matches our observed reality. So what the Bible says and what we observe go hand in hand clearly, as you see this aeroplane in the moon in the daytime sky. And that brings us to the sun. Clearly not 92 million miles away in deep space, in the vacuum, supposed vacuum in deep space. Clearly very, very close. This local sun. It's obvious for those that have eyes to see and that are not blinded by science. And that gets back to our enclosed system. And that gets into NASA once again with the Atlantis space shuttle, which in my estimation is, of course, truth in plain sight, living in this enclosed system. And you have this one shot from NASA itself of a space shuttle launch doing its arc. And of course, not going straight up. I understand what people are going to say that believe in the lies of science, that this is a low Earth orbit transition into so-called deep space, when literally nothing can breach God's firmament. And that gets back to these so-called launches by NASA and SpaceX. Again, getting back to these arcs, as you see with these launches. And of course, the bad stigma of the Bermuda Triangle itself. And this is where I believe they end up, in this region here in the Bermuda Triangle. Just another image of the same. So again, this is perfectly placed with all the launches that go off the coast of Florida. Again, it all adds up, all makes sense. Now getting back to this so-called space shuttle Atlantis, just take a look here at this, again, space shuttle, and look at these very small wings. Do you really believe, according to NASA, that these space shuttles go into space and come back with these little dinky wings and act as a glider? Absolutely not. These are airplanes disguised as space shuttles, 100%. And one thing I found interesting as well, with the whole Atlantis and other space shuttles, this one in particular, this one had exactly 33 missions. And of course, runway number 33 at the Kennedy Space Center. Give me a break. Again, this is all about Freemasonry.